Coach Sarah here, and I want to clear up a couple of things about nutrition when it comes to competition prep. And main thing is that no, you are not going to just cut calories and get there, right? There's a couple of things that we need to address when it comes to competition prep because it is not a weight loss competition, right? So there are a couple different things that you're gonna have to do in order to get lean for a bikini bodybuilding competition. It's more than just cutting calories and cutting weight, right? So stay tuned. We're gonna go over the top nutrition myths that usually end up sabotaging first-time bikini competitors. Myth number one is to cut more to lose more, right? So you might be thinking, obviously, you're gonna have to cut calories in order to lose weight, but when you cut them too drastically, especially too soon, it does more harm than good. It's gonna tank your metabolism, probably hurt your hormones because you've done it so quickly, and you're trying to speed up the process in a shorter amount of time frame, right? And that doesn't usually help because you end up being stressed out because your body's not responding in the way that you want it to. Cortisol spikes and your hormones kind of get out of whack, right? So your body is only going to change so much in a given amount of time. And so realistically, you need to understand that you can't just crunch in a bunch of time and try to take a shorter window when your body's probably only going to change so much within that given amount of time. And so this is why it is key to be realistic about your approach when it comes to competing and make sure that you're working with someone that is knowledgeable so that they can help you through that process, because sometimes your body may not respond to certain things and then you're gonna have to change your plan. But cutting calories too quickly and too soon can tank everything else to where you're just completely depleted. And that's not the goal of competing. It's not a weight loss competition. You do want to preserve as much muscle mass as you can throughout the process. So if you're cutting too much too soon, you're probably gonna not look the way that you had anticipated. Myth number two is that cardio is key. While yes, cardio can help, it is only a tool just like everything else. So some people respond very well to cardio and getting, extra steps and burning extra calories and turning up their neat calories for the day, right? But not everyone responds very well. And if you're hitting cardio very hard, on top of strength training, then you're going to be overtraining, right? And there comes a time and place where you probably are going to be hitting it hard, and that's usually close right before stage. Some people do 2-a-day cardios and things like that to help them to burn that extra little bit of fat and everything to make everything more conditioned. But if you're doing that right out of the gate, it's probably not going to help you, and you're not going to see the results that you're looking for when it comes to cardio, because cardio will get increased. Some people do really well without it. It just depends on the person. It is a tool, remember, at the end of the day. So even if you are, tracking your food and everything and strength training, remember, cardio is only a tool of that to help in the process, and some people need it more than others. It's not that you need to do endless amounts of cardio. Myth number three is that carbs make you fat. And this is just not true. Carbs are actually your main source of energy when it comes to your day, right? So carbs, there's a time and place. You still need some amount of carbs, right? But carbs will, sometimes get depleted. Just know that there are going to be periodic refeeds and things like that, and carbs are not all created equal. So when it comes to carbs, it's about making smarter choices with your carbs and choosing complex carbs over simple carbs like sugary things, right? Or prepackaged foods, and choosing things that are more whole foods so that you are sustaining your energy, and also it's easier for you to digest and easier for you to metabolize, right? So you're making better use of the energy that you are taking in, right? So yes, there will be points of time where your carbs will get cut back, but that does not mean that carbs will make you fat or that carbs are the enemy. They are a very good tool to use, and chances are, if you are in the deep of prep, you love when you get a refeed day or extra carbs in your plan. Am I right? So just keep that in mind. Carbs will not make you fat. They're an essential part to help your energy and everything else work together. Now, the fourth thing is that meal plans are better than macros. And this is kind of a hard one to answer because it's not necessarily true, right? Because tracking your macros gives you a lot more flexibility when it comes to your foods, whereas a meal plan is very strict and very rigid, right? So I like macros because it gives you more of that flexibility, because maybe something on my meal plan I am not feeling that day or I don't have readily available at that time. So having macros is a great way. Now, the only problem with tracking macros and having that flexibility can sometimes mean that you might choose foods, like I mentioned with the carbs, you might choose more simpler carbs rather than complex carbs. So it really comes down to making sure that you're still choosing healthier choices, but still hitting your macros, right? And having some of that flexibility. You want to basically try to eat as much whole foods as possible. Yes, some things are going to be packaged, some things are going to have, artificial sweeteners, and that's okay in moderation, right? But when you become reliant on a lot of those things and you're not seeing a lot of the other things and hitting your macros, or maybe your digestion is off, or maybe your energy, or maybe you still are hungry at the end of the day because you're not getting enough volume of things, then sometimes we need to look at also the micronutrients as well. Like, are you getting enough fiber? Are you eating too much sodium? All of those different things can play a factor. So yes, meal plans have their time and place, but I do think that macros makes things a lot easier for people, especially in prep, because you have a lot more flexibility and you can be more creative when it comes to your meals to make sure that you are hitting your goals. The fifth thing is staying in a deficit until show day. Honestly, you probably will not stay in a deficit completely until show day, right? At the same amount of calories. That's just not how it works, right? So you will taper down as you get closer and closer to a show, and then you probably also have some periodic refeeds if your body is needing that within your plan, right? So you'll have some periodic refeeds, maybe you'll be doing carb cycling, maybe you'll have to bump up your calories depending on how much you've lost and where your body is physically at, right? At the end of the day, every person is very unique, but there needs to be strategic phases that are put into your plan. It's not just cut calories, lose weight, and step on stage, right? You need to also build beforehand and probably reverse beforehand if you've been in a deficit for a long time, and then also cut and then post-show reverse again. So it really is strategic in the way that you do things so that you are doing it in a healthy and safe manner, right? So it is not just a deficit until show day. Let's recap what does work when it comes to nutrition. It is consistent strength training, right? Strategic with your nutrition, not just cutting calories right out of the gate, going through enough calories for the phase that you are in so that you're not crashing and burning out at the end of the day, and also having some flexibility when it comes to your nutrition so that it is sustainable for you and it's easy to follow more long term, right? Because if you can't follow the plan, then you can't see the results that you're looking for. So those are the things that do work, and it all comes down to each person individually and what they may or may not need when it comes to their plan. So if you've been stuck at 1,200 calories and you're seeing very little to no results when it comes to your plan, let's prep in a very smart way and help you to start seeing better results for what you need. So if you are struggling with this, please reach out to Top Notch Strong. Any of our coaches would be happy to help you in assisting your nutrition and making sure that you are seeing better progress when it comes to that.